Welcome to Arts and Crafts with Kidston Connects. We're so happy you're here today. What we're doing as our activity today is making friendship bracelets. The first one we're starting off with is a zipper bracelet, so stay tuned to figure out just how to do it. So you can see here that I'm just picking out my strings. I have this really nice red one that has an ombre kind of effect to it, fading in another light red and dark red, and then I also have a really nice kind of icy blue string. So what we're doing here is measuring out our string that we're going to need for the bracelet. For this one, you only need 1 arm's length of each color. So after we have our strings cut, they need to be lined up so that we can find the middle of both of them to tie our knot. So that's just what I'm doing here. And you can also see that I did cut some extra string away. That's because I originally measured 2 arms length of each one, but then I decided that I only needed 1 arm's length of each string color, and that is what I continued with, which worked perfectly fine. So you only need 1 arm's length of each piece of string. So now that our strings are all lined up, we're going to tie a knot at the end. This knot is going to leave us with a nice loop, which will be used to tie our bracelet around our wrists or on ankles later on. And it also is very useful in creating the necessary tension to get nice knots for your bracelet. So that can be used with a safety pin, or like you'll see later on, I'm putting a weight on top of my bracelet to keep it down. Now the first step before you tie any knots or start to make any pattern is separating your strings correctly. So you're going to need on one side a singular string of one color, and on the other side a singular string of another color, while you have a row in the middle that has two strings of either color together. Now you would have seen me tie that last knot, but what we're going to do is go through it pretty slowly. You'll see me do this over and over again. We're taking our string and we are crossing it over the main section of strings, that has 2 in the middle, and that kind of makes a 4 shape. We are then taking the tail of that 4 and flipping it underneath the main column in the middle and pulling it through that little loop. As we're pulling it through, we're making sure that we get nice, good tension, and you will see the way it's wrapped around the string will come up to the top, which will make a pattern. So what's making the pattern of the zipper bracelet is the switch between our outside strings. On the main section, it's going to go back and forth in the middle from that blue color that I've chosen and the red color. If your bracelet starts to twist up and almost start to look like the wrap bracelet from our other tutorial, then your knots are a little bit too tight, but if you smush it down with your fingers and kind of pull the strings, you should be able to get it back to the flat point. If it's the other way, that's completely okay. It's still gonna look great. So when we get up close here, you can really see the alternation between the colors, the back and forth between the blue and the red, and how that makes a zipper pattern. Thank you so much for joining us today, and don't forget to send us pictures of all your creations.